I'm so sorry. I do believe a robbery has taken place tonight at the Bernabau. At the Santiago Bernabau, Bayern Munich were robbed of their last-minute goal. Why? This goal from Bayern Munich was ruled off for offside, and this was literally basically the last kick of the game to tie the game at 2-2. Bayern actually scored from this event, but the flag was raised, the referee judged offside immediately and didn't even allow play to continue. Now, before you come at me, it is clear that a mistake was made by the linesman and the referee. Why? Because the rules clearly say that if it's a tight offside, you wait for the play to finish before you even raise your flag. And this was the case. And De Ligt, in his post-match interview, clearly states that the linesman has apologized and said that he made a mistake. Yes, the linesman was not supposed to raise his flag only after the play had ended. So only after the goal had been scored, that's when the linesman was supposed to raise his flag, and then we go to VAR to check. But the referee doubled down on that mistake by immediately blowing his whistle because the linesman raised his flag. That was also a mistake by the referee. We should at least have seen the goal through, and then we go to VAR to go draw the lines to see whether or not it would be offside. And the problem is that it would not have now gone to VAR simply because the referee has made the call. The referee has made the call and blew the whistle. So now it does not go to offside via VAR. And we know with VAR, they've specifically implemented an automatic offside roboting refereeing system that would definitely tell us if something is offside or not, at least at minimum. Now, I also do not believe that this is offside at all. Let's analyze the play. So obviously this is incorrect. So whoever's making these images, this is incorrect. They do not necessarily understand how to interpret the offside law. Rudiger's hand does not count at all because you cannot score with your hands. We do not play football with our hands unless you're the keeper. So Rudiger's hand does not count at all. So we can't start measuring from his arm and hands. We need to start measuring from a body part that is closest to his goal. And to me, that is actually his leg and his foot. Yes, it's not clear in this image because we have the Bayern players obstructing the view, but we can clearly see that his right leg is the one that's closest to his goal. And that is the one that we'd measure to see if he's playing the Bayern Munich players offside. De Ligt, for me, is offside, right? De Ligt is offside, but that's a separate case altogether because now we start looking at whether or not De Ligt is interfering with play. Based on this ball being played, the ball actually goes past De Ligt to Mazraoui, who's number 40. So he's actually number 40 in this case and not number 4, so not De Ligt. Since the ball clears Rudiger and De Ligt, I do think De Ligt does not interfere with play. Yes, he's making the run, but because it directly goes to Ferland Mendy for Real Madrid, the number 23, and he challenges it with Mazraoui, the number 40, I do think that is the only matter of concern in this instance. So therefore, De Ligt is not interfering with play, and therefore he's not offside. So we play on, because to me, he initially looks onside, right? I do think Rudiger's leg is playing him on, since Mazraoui looks to be a little bit clearly before Rudiger's leg. And Thomas Müller is even out of the equation in this case because he doesn't even attack the ball and he's clearly onside from the get-go. So initially, when Ferland Mendy hits the ball clear and it falls to Thomas Müller's legs, who passes it to De Ligt, who eventually scores, Thomas Müller is not offside, and I've just explained why I thought De Ligt was not offside. So yes, a mistake in my opinion was clearly made by 1, the linesman, by 2, the referee for blowing the whistle immediately, and further by me thinking that based on what I've just seen, they are onside. Thomas Müller is onside, De Ligt is not obstructing play, and Mazraoui is onside, and therefore the goal should have stood. Real Madrid's second goal, they scored, and then the referee blew his whistle for offside, and then it went to VAR, and then the automatic robotic offside decision-making system kicked in and then confirmed that Joselu was onside, and therefore the goal was given. And that's exactly how it should have also went for Bayern. Although from this case, you can clearly see that Joselu looks offside, right? He does look offside, but play is allowed to continue and the referee doesn't blow his whistle immediately, even though it would have been impossible because this happened so quickly. But again, the decision was made by the VAR and they came back and said it was onside, therefore it's a goal. Even though I do feel like maybe this does look a little bit shady. Someone was saying that the line drawn does not look really good. It does not look fair because it should be parallel with the 18-yard line, so it does not look straight. But I do think that if this is what VAR is saying, then it's hard to argue because now we can see the images. But it does kind of look shady, I won't lie. This does take me back to the pre-VAR era where Madrid did also rob Bayern Munich again of 2 goals when literally Bayern Munich were in the game and they had completed the comeback in the Champions League tie, the second leg at the Bernabau. But Ronaldo scored 2 offside goals, but it was hard to judge because we didn't have VAR, right? But that was a clear robbery as well. And it's shades of that, I won't lie. Madrid have been subject to very favorable calls in the Champions League this season and generally refereeing calls in general. Maybe it's because of the name, maybe it's because of the pressure that referees have because of Real Madrid and just the brand. I mean, even in La Liga alone, Barcelona's goal that crossed the line wasn't given. Vinicius Jr. scored with his arm against Girona. I mean, come on. They've been very subject to very favorable calls, to say the least. And this only happens at the Bernabau, or maybe not really. Leipzig in this Champions League edition, in the literal round of 16, Leipzig's second-minute goal was cancelled, and I do believe it should have stood as well. So again, people insinuating that basically when the referees go to check the VAR screen, they're basically seeing Papa Perez there, and there's nothing that they can do about that. I should say that I could be wrong. I definitely could be wrong. Maybe if the VAR did draw the line as well. If we did go to VAR, it would have proved it was offside. But in my case, it doesn't seem like it. I'm sorry, but I could be wrong, of course. But this, to me, we don't have that evidence now. But based on what I see, I am clearly calling robbery. I am calling it. I'm sorry. I do think that the first big call was made, and it was made correctly, which was the equalizer, the initial equalizer by Real Madrid. Nacho was literally shoving both his hands on Kimmich's arm during the goal, and it was rightfully disallowed. The referee made a brilliant decision, went VAR, said go have a look at it, and then he came back and he changed his decision, cancelled the goal. That was completely correct, and Ancelotti has no leg to stand on by saying that if Bayern were robbed, then Real Madrid were also robbed because this goal was cancelled. This goal should have never stood. It was never going to stand. So I'm sorry, Ancelotti does not have a leg to stand on based on that. But at the end of the day, Real Madrid do what Real Madrid do. Real Madrid and Carlo Ancelotti did what the Carlo Ancelotti does. They are the comeback kings. Somewhere, somehow, they just know how to turn this thing around. It is Real Madrid. Battles, fascinating battles everywhere. Vinicius Jr. looks to be impeccable when it comes to knockout ties. Tuchel would be very disappointed. I think he coached a good game, but he will take responsibility for the subs that he made. Leroy Sané, Harry Kane, and now Harry Kane will finish the season trophyless. Bayern will finish the season trophyless for the first time in 12 years. That is insane. The Harry Kane curse must be real, stronger than Kingsley Coman's curse, that's for sure. But who do you have for Ballon d'Or now? Because now it'll be Dortmund versus Real Madrid in the final. Harry Kane was making a good push, and now it seems like maybe Vinicius Jr. versus Jude Bellingham, maybe, depending on who wins, and also we'll have the Euros, but we'll see. Dortmund, it's a very beautiful story to see Dortmund in the final. I'm really happy about this. I'm really happy for Marco Reus. He literally plays last game for Borussia Dortmund at Wembley in the Champions League final after he lost it over 10 years ago to Bayern Munich. He might deserve a trophy, at least a major trophy, because I don't think he's won the league for Dortmund, and he's obviously not won the Champions League, and he lost it with Dortmund's golden age of Lewandowski, Goetze, and Reus during that time. He's also struggled with a lot of injuries that's caused him to miss the World Cup. He's the most loyal player that we know, one of the most loyal players that we know in football, and he's the most lovable. He does not have any haters, and I agree with that. So therefore, I'm happy with this one. Dortmund knocked out PSG, and Mbappe was absolutely nowhere to be seen. And basically, they're saying that this is how Hummels was dealing with Mbappe. And let's be honest, Hummels was amazing during both these ties. But yeah, Mbappe didn't even really make a difference. He did hit the post a few times though, but he did not have a good performance during both these legs, especially at home. It was very disappointing. So I do think Mbappe will leave PSG now with maybe not being as successful as he would have wanted. He did go to the final with Neymar against Bayern in 2020, but they lost that one as well. So he will leave PSG without a UCL. Someone said that he lied. He lied about what he could do for PSG. And after he cost them 180 million and so many wages, PSG have really lost out on that one because he's leaving for free. Absolutely going to shatter them in terms of financial fair play. But because Mbappe earns over 1.1 million per week, they can save that in wages. Dortmund deserve this Champions League. They were put in a group of death with AC Milan and Newcastle and PSG. They got out of that group. Everyone thought they're the weakest link and they wanted it. And I do think it's absolutely fair that they're going off on social media, that the Borussia Dortmund admin and Hummels, they've been putting up legendary tweets. And that is true because everyone wrote Dortmund off. I wrote Dortmund off from the beginning. I didn't even think they'd make it out of the group. But here they are in a final. And they've beaten PSG and they've given them revenge after they lost to them during that run of PSG again, where they went to the final. The PSG project continues, struggles again to make any impact in Europe whatsoever. At least Man City have moved from being a U to her crush. That is progress because with their one Champions League, that's something that they can hold on to. What more can I say? I do think it's an amazing story for Borussia Dortmund and for Royce. I am personally happy for them. I do think PSG were unlucky. They did hit the post like 6 times or something, but this Champions League season has been absolutely mind-blowing. One of the best, and this is the best way we can end in this original format that we know it. But do you remember the Real Madrid and Borussia Dortmund tie? I think in 2014, where Dortmund literally smashed Real Madrid. Was it 5-1 or was it 4-1 with Lewandowski scoring 4 goals? That was a great time with the Royce, Götze and Lewandowski trio up front. Wow, what a time. But it will be the Jude Bellingham final. Jude Bellingham's former club that sold him for 100 million. Borussia Dortmund versus his current club, Real Madrid. Amazing story, a success story for both teams, and I wish both teams the best. With that being said, I hope you enjoyed my video. Let me know what your thoughts are, especially on the goal for Bayern Munich, and who do you think will win it. With that being said, take care. I will see you on the next video. Bye bye.